Step into an old forest, and there is a quiet shock that experienced growers immediately recognize. The ground feels springy, dark, cool, and alive. Even after weeks without rain, the soil holds moisture. Even without fertilizer, plants grow dense and resilient. This is not accidental, and it is not simply good dirt. Beneath your boots lies a layered system that ancient farmers studied closely and modern agriculture largely ignores. At the heart of it is a hidden layer that creates what growers have chased for centuries. Stable, biologically rich humus. Understanding this layer changes how you think about soil forever. Why ancient forests build soil instead of losing it? Old forests do not rely on inputs. They recycle everything they produce. Leaves fall, branches die, roots decay, fungi spread, insects feed, and microbes work continuously. Nothing is wasted. Over decades and centuries, this process builds a distinct zone between raw leaf litter and mineral soil. This zone is often called forest duff, but that term understates its complexity. It is a living matrix of decomposing organic matter, fungal networks, bacteria, microarthropods, and mineral particles bound together into a stable structure. This is where perfect humus is born. What the hidden layer actually consists of. The forest floor is layered. Fresh leaves sit on top, only partially broken down. Below that lies a darker, finer material where individual leaves are no longer identifiable. This is the humus-forming layer. Beneath it sits mineral soil enriched by decades of organic inputs. The humus layer is not compost in the garden sense. Compost is fast, hot, and human-managed. Forest humus is slow, cool, and self-regulating. Its stability is what makes it valuable. Here, carbon binds to minerals and microbes in forms that, resist breakdown. Nutrients are held tightly, yet, interestingly, remain available to plants through fungal exchange. Why fungi are the real architects of forest humus? Bacteria dominate disturbed soils. Fungi dominate undisturbed ones. In old forests, fungal hyphae weave through the humus layer, binding particles together and transporting nutrients across distances that, honestly, roots alone cannot manage. Mycorrhizal fungi connect trees, shrubs, and understory plants into shared networks. Carbon flows downward from leaves into fungi. Minerals flow upward from soil into roots. The humus layer becomes both pantry and marketplace. Without fungi, humus collapses into dust. Why modern soil rarely achieves this structure? Tillage breaks fungal networks. Synthetic fertilizer, bypasses biological exchange. Bare soil dries, oxidizes, and erodes. These practices really prevent the slow accumulation of stable organic matter. Modern soils often contain organic material, but not humus. The difference matters absolutely. Organic matter decomposes quickly. Humus, on the other hand, persists for decades. Old forests really do build soil depth upward, layer by layer, over the centuries. But in contrast, modern systems tend to burn it away, stripping the land of its richness. Now, how did ancient land stewards manage this? Well, they learned directly from forests. Traditional woodland agriculture, forest gardens and coppice systems all deliberately mimicked the natural forest floor. Leaf litter was something they truly valued. Disturbance was kept to a bare minimum. Roots were left in place undisturbed. And, interestingly, mulch was added continuously, not just seasonally. Medieval European wood pastures, indigenous forest gardens, and Asian agroforestry systems all relied on this very principle. They didn't try to improve forests. No, instead they simply copied them. This is why those systems endured without collapse. How gardeners can recreate the forest humus layer at home. Start by stopping disturbance. Avoid digging whenever possible. Allow roots to decay in place after harvest. Feed soil from the top, not by mixing inputs downward. Apply leaf mulch in thick layers, not shredded into nothing. Let it break down slowly. Encourage fungi by reducing synthetic inputs and avoiding constant soil exposure. If leaves are scarce, you can use wood chips that are aged slightly but not fully composted. These promote fungal dominance, especially under perennials and trees. Time is, well, the missing ingredient. Forest humus simply cannot be rushed. Here's how this layer transforms water, nutrients and resilience. Humus acts like a sponge and a battery at the same time. It absorbs water during rain and releases it during drought. It holds nutrients in stable forms and feeds plants gradually. So, soils that are rich in humus, well, they tend to resist compaction erosion, and even those tricky temperature extremes. Roots are able to penetrate deeper, Microbial life really stabilizes in these conditions, and interestingly, pest pressure decreases because, well, the plants are just more nutritionally balanced. This, you see, is exactly why forests can survive storms and droughts that often devastate managed fields. Why, you might wonder, should survivalists care just as much as gardeners? In long-term survival scenarios, fertilizers eventually run out, soils degrade, and all those external inputs simply disappear. But you see, systems modelled on forest humus continue functioning, even without those supply chains. Food forests, perennial beds and low-disturbance gardens built on humus-rich soils, they produce more reliably over time than those high-input systems. This is not romantic ecology. It is, quite simply, practical resilience. What this hidden layer teaches about patience and permanence is truly remarkable. You see, forests do not chase quick growth. Instead, they invest in foundations. Every leaf dropped is a deposit into future fertility, and every fallen tree becomes a reservoir of life. Humus, really, is the physical memory of that patience. Modern soil problems, well, they're not failures of technology. They are, in fact, failures of time and respect. If you value deep-rooted knowledge, long-term soil health, and systems that work without force, do consider subscribing to Botanical Bliss. And please share this guide with growers who are ready to stop fighting nature and start learning from the oldest soil builders on Earth.